Good morning and welcome to day 2 of Find Your Inner Balance and Spring Clean Your Soul. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. It's very sunny outside today, which is lovely. We had a bit of rain earlier in the week, but it seems to be lovely and sunny out there today. Before we begin, please make sure that you are ready for magical practice in whatever way this means for you. So if you want to do a short meditation, to open your chakras, or to simply do a quick breathing exercise before we begin, then please do that now. And today we're going to be focusing on the mental plane. So we've skipped one in the 4 planes of existence. So we've got the physical plane, the emotional plane or the emotional body, the physical body, the mental body, the mental plane, and then we have this spiritual body and this spiritual plane. And today we're going to be focusing on the mental. And I think this is because thoughts and emotions can get muddled up sometimes, and thoughts and feelings are different, and it's very easy to think that all of our thoughts are also feelings and that all of our thoughts are true as well. So actually we're going to skip emotional and we will come to that tomorrow, so be prepared for a deep dive into your emotions tomorrow, but for today we're focusing on the mental, the thoughts. Okay, just to recap, if this is your first time joining me, we exist within 4 bodies: the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, and the spiritual body. And what we're doing is when we feel out of balance, we need to look at all 4 bodies to make sure that we are clearing the clutter from all planes of existence so that we can create this space to make change. And that's what we're doing over the next few days. So as I said, today we're going to be focusing on the mental realm, the mental body, and the mental plane of existence, which of course means all of our thoughts. Okay, and I think that sometimes we can spend far too long in our thoughts, and when we do that, we're not actually taking any action. And action is the thing that creates the change. We have to make the space for change, but then we actually have to do something that is going to cause that change to happen. And oftentimes we can find ourselves lost in our thoughts, and we spend so long thinking about what could happen, what might happen, what we could do, what we should do. And that stops us then from taking any action at all, because we're spending far too much time in the mental plane, in the mental body. So today we're going to start clearing some of that clutter away and start recognizing what is actually important, what is true, because a lot of our thoughts are things that are not true. And really sort of getting to understand what is important, what do we need to think about, and what actually is taking up too much space in our mental body. Okay, so I'd like you to start thinking about what your mental plane consists of. Okay, and there are lots of positives and negatives in terms of our thoughts and the way that we use our mental plane of existence. And there are some wonderful positives, and there are also some definite traps that we can get stuck into. So what does the mental plane consist of? Well, let's start with something nice and fun. So ideas are formed on the mental plane. So any of that kind of creativity, anything that we have a thought that we might want to do, or we might want to have, or we might want to be, that starts as a thought. And that's where on the positive side you've got your ideas. Okay, also in the positive side of your mental plane you have also got imagination, the ability to dream, the ability to imagine, visualize, and think about what you want to have, be and do. okay? And also in that mental plane, we have learning. So when we take the time to learn something new, we're expanding that mental plane in a positive way, creating more space for more ideas, more imagination, and more creativity. Another thing, and this is one that I really struggle with on the mental plane, is focus. And our focus lives on the mental plane. It's a brain power, isn't it? The ability to concentrate and focus on what it is that we want to do. And so we've got ideas, we've got learning, we've got imagination, dreams, creativity, all these positive things in the mental plane. But a lot of us spend far too long on the negative side of the mental plane. And this is where the anxieties come in, the worries, the stresses, a lot of self-esteem. Self-esteem isn't a feeling, it's a thought. It's what you think and believe about yourself. So self-esteem can switch from either side. You can either have a really positive version of self-esteem or a negative version. Hello, don't you look amazing with all your masks on? Can I carry on with my meeting? Do you want to give everyone a wave? Lovely. Off you go then. I have a feeling that the dressing up cupboard is going to be all over the floor by the time I finish this meeting. So we have self-esteem, and those are the things that we think and believe about ourselves. It's not a feeling, it's a thought. And more often than not, those thoughts are not true things. They are things that we have made up about ourselves. They're lies, and they are stories that we tell ourselves that aren't necessarily true. And if you take the time to actually find some evidence, you'll often find that they are things that counteract those thoughts that you think about yourself. So we've got the anxiety, the worry, the stress. Also a lot of blame goes into the negative side of the mental plane. And again, blame isn't a feeling, it's a thought. And you can blame yourself for not being able to do or have or be whatever it is that you are trying to achieve. And you can blame others. And you can say, I can't because they, or I can't because this hasn't happened. And oftentimes, again, these aren't necessarily true thoughts. These are just stories and lies and things that you have made up about yourself and about the real reasons why you're not doing X, Y, Z. Okay. And finally, I think in with that blame goes this victim mode place where we can all find ourselves sometimes. The universe is conspiring against me. I can never find this thing that I'm always looking for. Everything's just in my way. It's not me. It's the environment. It's the outer world. And part of that may be true, but part of it is also you. Part of it is also your thought process and the way that you are creating your own responses to the world around you. So as you start to think about what exists on your mental plane, and we've talked about ideas, imagination, the learning, the focus, the dreams, the anxiety, the worry, the stress, the self-esteem and the blame, start to think about what those things actually mean for you. So what worries do you have? What stresses? Who are you blaming for this, that and the other? Why are you doing that? What ideas have you had but haven't actually followed through on? Where are you finding space for creativity in your life? Where are you allowing yourself the possibility of dreams? There's this phrase, isn't there, that you have the word impossible and you split it. I'm possible. And, you know, obviously there's always going to be something that is completely impossible and is never going to happen. For example, I would love to go into space. I don't think that at almost 40 years of age, I have the ability or the willpower or the drive to actually do all of that training and go into space. So, I mean, I could if I really wanted to. It's not impossible, but it's not practical for me and where I am in my life right now. So there are going to be some things that do feel unachievable, and it's your response to whether or not they're truly unachievable or whether they're just not right now or not this time kind of thing. So start to think about where you are laying blame for various things in your life, where you are carrying stress. And we talked yesterday about, can you feel the stress in your body when you think about money or your job or your home or things like that? Can you recognize that physical response to the thoughts that you are having? Okay, so that's sort of like the place to start. Where do you find that you are taking up the most space in your mental plane? Do you have the space for ideas, imagination, creativity and dreams? Or are you stuck in the anxiety and the worry and the blame? Okay, so start there and think about the space within your mental plane. And hopefully, again, like I said yesterday, you'll be able to see the links between your thoughts and your feelings, but recognize that they're different. Okay, because we can blame this person for this thing that hasn't happened in our lives, but we don't feel blame, we feel anger or we feel resentment. It's got a different label, and being able to label them separately allows us to deal with them better. So you can start to see the links between how an imbalance in one of your planes of existence has an effect on the other planes of existence. So where is the imbalance in your mental plane, in your mental body? Where are you spending too much time, energy, effort and focus? Time, effort, energy. There's another one that I usually say, I can't remember what it is. And where are you lacking? So where are you not spending enough time, effort and energy? Okay, so one of the things that I notice about myself is that I spend a lot of time playing the what if game, and I will have a thought, and that thought will link to what if this situation occurs, which then links to another one. What if that then happens? What if this then happens? And I know that I am able to run away with my thoughts and get sucked into this kind of spiral of what ifs and creating a story, creating a lie for myself that all of these things might be true. Okay, so a really good example is if somebody doesn't message me back, and I know that I'm not the best person at messaging back in the first place, but if somebody doesn't message me back, I will start to worry about why haven't they messaged me back? Have I said something that's upset them? Aren't they my friend anymore? Why is it taking so long? What could I possibly have said that has been misconstrued or misunderstood? And that is taking so much space in my mental body that I then, will happily waste 30 minutes to an hour worrying about it. And then that turns into the emotions. I start to feel that panic. I start to feel that I start to have that feeling, and I can feel it physically in my body because I've created this story that isn't true. So what is it that you are creating for yourself that isn't true? And what I'd like you to do today is to start getting this stuff out, okay? Because we all have anxieties, worries, stress. We all have that list of ideas and thoughts that we want to do, but we're not going to, or we haven't started, or whatever. And we all have that, those self-esteem, whether it's a positive side, whether it's a negative side, we all have those things going on within our mental plane. So if you are a writer, it's an excellent idea to get a massive piece of paper and to start jotting those things down. Hello.
I need help.
Okay, I can't help you right now because I'm in the middle of my meeting, but...
I need help.
Okay, what is it?
I can't put the Aladdin song on.
Okay, ask Alexa to do it, and if you can't do it, I will try...
No, the genie song.
Oh, that's because it doesn't, it's not on Alexa, is it? We've tried before, we can't find it on there. Okay, that's why. So you'll have to pick a different song. So what can you get rid of? So let's start the decluttering process. If you're a writer, get a big old piece of paper and you can even block it into sections and do a section for dreams, a section for ideas that you haven't done or started or tried, a section for anxieties and worries, a section for stress. And start writing down those things, those thoughts that you think that are taking up too much space. Get it all out, no matter what it is, what it relates to, and you'll find that as you start, more stuff will come up. And it will be things that you haven't thought about in a long time, but they're still taking space in your mental plane. They're still taking up that space. So getting it all out of your brain, out of your mind, out of the mental plane and into something physical, like a piece of paper, starts the decluttering process. And you can do 5 minutes on this and then come back to it later on today. You can go at it for a full hour if you want to, whatever it feels right for you. So take that time to get it out and onto paper. If you are not a writer, and I know that there's some people in the group who don't like to do the writing part of what I do. So if that is you, then voice note it, say it out loud. You can record it if you want to on your phone. A lot of phones now have a speech to text app. So you can speak it and it will type it for you. So sometimes that's a really good way of actually ending up with the physical piece of paper or the physical black and white version of it without having to spend the time to write it down. So start saying it out loud. Start unpicking what those things are that are taking up space in your mental plane. And you can talk about it with a friend if you don't want to sit by yourself and say it out loud, or you can simply just say it and acknowledge that it's there. And then once you've got it, once you've made a start, if you're spending 5 minutes and you're going to come back to it later, do that. But once you've started to get those things down, and keep going until you feel like you've reached a point where you need to stop or you want to stop, then take the time to look back. Look back at what you've written, look back at what you've said, and start to unpick whether or not those things are true. Okay, so if you've written a big long list of worries, how many of them are true today? A lot of worries are about things that haven't happened yet. And then we need to question, how likely are they to actually happen? So when I'm worrying about my friend messaging me back, how likely is it that I've said something that's going to upset her so much that she will never speak to me again? How likely actually is that? So how true is that worry for me? It's probably not true. So I probably don't need it to take up space in my mental plane, in my mental body. So reflect on what you've written, reflect on what you've said, and start to unpick what is true and what is not. And then see if you can flip those things. So I talked earlier about the what if. This is my thought. What if that happens? What if that happens? What if that happens? And all of those things are negative. None of those are positive things. So can I switch it around? So I could be thinking, what if I've said something that has really upset my friend? What if I've said something that's really made her think? about something and she's gone off to reflect about something so that she can come back, or she's gone off to do some research so that we can continue talking about it. What if the positive side is going to happen? What if the best thing could happen instead of the worst? We always think the worst. We always imagine the worst. Can you flip it round and imagine the best and think the best? How does that then feel differently? Does it physically feel differently in your body? Is it now taking up less space in your mental plane? Okay, so today, get all of that stuff out and then start the process of reflection. What's true? What's not true? Can I flip it to a positive? And if you're struggling with this and you have a thought that you think and you can't get past it, please message it to me, tell me what it is, and I will help you start to unpick why or how or what, okay? And see if you can find any thoughts that are linked to emotions. This will help you for tomorrow's task when we start looking at the emotional plane. What thoughts are leading you to feel a particular way, okay? So get all of that out. And then, once you've done that and you've sat and done your reflection, what I'd like you to do is take a moment later on in the day to go into your inner space if you have one already. If you don't, it's in the meditation in the group. And just take a moment to connect to yourself. If you've never done anything like this before, like I said yesterday, just take a moment to sit quietly, do a quick breathing exercise, take a deep breath in, blow away all of those thoughts, all of that clutter that you've had in the mental plane. Just blow it away with some force, you know, get it out and away from you. So take a moment to sit quietly, go into your inner space if you have one, and ask the question, okay, what is important? What thoughts are important? Where does my focus need to be in terms of my mental plane, okay? And if you want to, you can ask the flip of that, what am I ready to let go of? What thoughts don't I need anymore? Okay, so what thoughts, ideas, etc. are important? What is important to my mental body? What can I get rid of? What can I release from my mental body? What no longer serves me in my thought processes? Okay, so ask that question. And again, whatever comes up first is probably the right answer, no matter what it is. And that it could be, like I said yesterday, it could be something that's completely different to all of the things that you've been thinking about and focusing on today. And that thing may come as a picture, it may come as an idea, a thought, a memory, an experience that you've had in your past that is now affecting your mental space and your ability to be creative and have ideas. It could be that someone is telling you the answer. It could be that you've got a sense of knowing that's absolutely and definitely the right answer. So whatever it is that comes up for you, notice what it is and then see what you can do about it, okay? And if you use tarot or oracle cards, it's a really good question again to ask of them. Okay, so what is important to my mental plane? What am I ready to let go of? What thoughts can I now let go of? What can I be free of? So take your tarot or oracle cards and ask that question. And again, remember that the answer may not be linked to thoughts. It may be linked to an emotion that you need to get rid of. It may be an energetic block, which we're going to have a look at on Monday in your spiritual body, that you now need to release and get rid of. And of course, I would love to see what you have come up with today. So please feel free to share whatever you are comfortable to share. Any aha moments, that moment of, oh, that's what that links to, and that's why I can't, and that's why I feel blah, blah, blah. So any of those moments, I would love to hear about them. If you are going to use tarot or oracle cards, again, share those in the group and I will pop my comments or my thoughts on them if you would like me to. And if you would like to contact me privately outside of the group, please do, and I will help you as much as I can because I want you to get the best out of this experience. And that is all for day 2. So have a fantastic day clearing the clutter from your mental space and your mental body, and then step into that space and see how it feels differently. How does your body now feel differently? Can you tell the difference? And I shall see you tomorrow for day 3. Have a lovely day and I shall see you soon.